All right, guys, you asked for it. I'm going to try to make a quick video. Just hope there's not a whole lot of mistakes here. Here we go. So the number one says find the first 5 terms of recursively defined sequence. A1 they're going to give you. I already moved out of the way. I can't see it. A1 is 3, the first term. Now, remember what recursive means. This means the next term is 8 times the previous term minus 2. So to find the second term, I'm going to do 8 times the previous term minus 2, which is going to give me 22. And then for the third term, I'm going to do 8 times the previous term, which was 22, minus 2, and get 174. Then to get the fourth term, I'm going to do 8 times the previous term, minus 2, and get 1390. And then to get the fifth term, the last one, 8 times the previous term, which was 1390, minus 2, and I get 11,118, and that's number one. Number two, I can't really teach you this one, guys. We talked about this all week long. I would say three things about this problem, though. I don't need to S. You're trying to find the nth term, the formula for the thing. If there's fractions tomorrow, look at it as 2 separate problems. Look at the numerator as one sequence and the bottom, the denominator is a separate sequence. What I'm seeing on the bottom is everything's doubling. And what we found out in class today is when things double, instead of doing 2 times n, you need to do 2 to the nth power. Think about it. Think about plugging in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Works out perfectly. Now the top we've been talking about forever, the difference is the same. When the difference is the same, that's the rate of change. The rate of change is 1. The rate of change always goes in front of your n or your x. And what I do now is figure out how to make it start. So if I put 1 in for n, that's not my first term. My first term is 3. I still need to add 2 to it to get to 3. Now, if I were you, I would maybe take the fourth term. Okay, think about this. Plug in 4 into your formula. 4 plus 2, that's 6, which looks really good. If I do 2 to the 4th power, that's 16. That's it. Okay, so I know I got it. Number 3, find the first 4 partial sums. You can't find the sums. Like you can't find S1, S2, S3, and S4 if you don't first know what the terms are. Okay, the first term is 1. I just plugged in 1 to get that. The second term, if you plug in 2, you get 3. The third term, if you plug in 3, you get 5. The fourth term, if you plug in 4, you get 7. So what's the first sum? 1. That's always going to be the first term. The second sum, you're going to add the first 2 terms together, 1 plus 3. That's going to give you 4. To find the third sum, I'm going to take the second sum and add the third term, which is going to be 9. So I have that's so far so good. And to find the fourth sum, I'm going to take the third sum plus the fourth term, which gives me 16. Now, there's my sums. That's most of the answer. Now, the last thing they want you to do is find the nth partial sum. Okay, find the formula for the sums. What I'm seeing, those are all perfect squares. So I'm just going to put n squared. 1 squared is the first one, 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared. Perfect. Okay, and tomorrow, if you can't figure out this last part, I would still be careful not to probably star this one, because if you got these answers, that's 4 out of 5 answers. That's still really good. You're going to get a lot of points there. Number 4, reroute without using sigma. Start out with the bottom number. Let's just plug it in. Getting 6 times 9. Go up to the next number, plug it in, 7 times 10. And I'm getting the second number by plugging the in for k right there. Go to the next number, 8 times 11. The next one's 9 times 12. You're getting credit if you get that far. Just show me what the terms are. I like it. Do like it better, though, if you go ahead and multiply those like that. But either one of those are good answers. Number 5, rewrite using sigma notation. This is a pretty tough. You have to figure out the formula for the sequence. That's the key, is what's the formula for the sequence. That weird term gives it away, that 8 over 3, because I'm thinking, okay, it's 8 over 3. That's the third term, which means that first term is really 8 over 1. 4 is really 8 over 2. 8 over 3. 2 is really 8 over 4. So that's very easy to see the pattern when you write it out like that. So my pattern is 8 over n or k or whatever you want to use. And I'm going to start with 1. Because if I plug 1 in there, I get 8, 2, I get 4. And I have 4 terms, so going up to 4. That's all there is to it. Number 6, you can plug straight into your calculator. You go to math, down to summation, and just punch it in. You should get 476. If you forget how to do that, start with the bottom number. Plug 5 in there, plug 6 in there, plug 7 in there. I'm just squaring them. Plug 8 in there, plug 9, plug in 10, and plug in 11. 11 squared is 121. And just add those up, and you're going to get 476. Number 7, the easiest one of the first 7 is probably this one. This is the first thing we did with sequences this week. It says find the first 4 terms. Got people outside. Golly. And the 100th term of the sequence. So I got to find A1, A2, third term, fourth term, and the 100th term. All right, and all you do here is you just plug it in. The first term, plug in 1. You get 2. Second term, you plug in 2. You get 5. Third term, plug in 3. You get 10. Fourth term, plug in 4. And the 100th term, you won't believe it, plug in 100, you should get 10,001. Boom. All right, number 8. The next 3 are word problems. They all work out pretty much the same order anyway. The first one says find a model. I'm not worried about reading these. We read them in class today. When you have a model, leave the t in it. N sub 0 means the initial amount. It tells you initially there are 500. So I'm going 500 times 2. Leave the t in. The A stands for half, how long it takes to double, the doubling time, which is 6. Okay, part B says how long after 12 hours. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put the 12 right in there for the t. You can punch it straight in your calculator after you do that, and you're going to get 2,000. And then part C, when will it be 8,000? So 8,000 is the final amount that goes on the left-hand side. Remember, we started with a 500. I have a 2 to the t over 6. I don't know t. It asked me, when will it be? I don't know what time is. So divide both sides by 500. That gives you 16. 2 to the t over 6. Anytime I'm looking for an exponent, I'm going to do log both sides. I'm going to do log base 2 because I can put the exponent in the front. And also what happens if I do log base 2, that cancels. So my final answer is going to be multiplying 6 times log base 2, 16. And if you do that and punch it in, you're going to get 24 hours. All right, that's 8. Number 9. Same kind of problem, different formula. Okay, they're giving me this one this time. Again, I'm not going to read it because we did that in class today. N sub 0 is the initial amount, which is 1,000. Have E to the RT. R is the relative growth rate, which is 50%. Change it to a decimal, 0.50 T. There's part A. Just write the formula. Part B, they're saying how much do you have after 20 hours. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to punch in 20 where the T is. So I got 1,000 E negative 0.50 times 20. I'm going to punch that straight in. Getting a huge number, 2,202,6,4,6,5. So about 22 million plus. And then part C, when will it reach 40,000? Okay, 40,000 is the end amount, so I'm going 40,000 on the left-hand side equals 1,000 E to the 0.50, times T. About to the 20 again. All right, divide both sides by 1,000. That's going to be 40 E to the 0.50 T. Now, because I have E, I'm going to do natural log both sides to make my E go away. Put the exponent in the front. Natural log E, that's gone. So my answer is going to be whatever natural log 40 divided by 0.5 or 0.50 is. Going to punch that in. Natural log 40 divided by 0.5. I'm getting about 7.4. What are we talking about here? Hours. Boom. Boom. All right, one more of these. Number 10. One thing about number 10 is you will need this little formula right here, that little R equals natural log 2 over H. That's how you find R for part B. And H stands for half-life, by the way. I'm going to erase that so I can work on this thing. Okay, part A. Part A, it gives you the function again. I'm not reading it again because we did that already. Okay, I get initial amount. The initial amount was 600 times 2, negative T over H. H stands for half-life, which is 140. Part B, same deal. Make the other formula. Initial amount, E, negative R. Now, here's you got to find it. I got to do natural log 2 divided by 140. And when I do that, I get 0.005. So that's what I'm putting right here. That's why you need that formula, so you can find R, your rate, for your second formula. Now, when you get to part C, guys, it's your choice. You can use A or B, whichever formula you like better. I always use the E formula. I don't know why. I just like that quite a bit better. It says after 1 year. However, half-life is in days, so that's got to be days. So I'm actually going to punch in 365 where the T is. So when negative 0.005 times 365, punching that straight in again. I keep saying straight in. I don't know if you can do it crooked in or what. Negative 0.005 times 365. I'm getting 96.7. Now, we'll say this. A few people in class today, and that's milligrams, I think. A few people in class used this formula for part C, that part A for part C, and they got like 98 point something. That's a fine answer, too. Either way is good. Part D, how long will it take to decrease to 100? So 100 is the final amount. It's decreasing because it's half-life. So it's asking me for how long, which means I don't know what T is. First step, divide both sides by 600. 100 divided by 600 is really 1/6. I'm just going to keep the fraction to keep it really nice and exact right there. And because I'm using my E, I got to use ln, so I'm doing natural log of 1/6 over here, putting the exponent in the front, natural log E, which is gone. So my answer is going to be whatever natural log of 1/6 over negative 0.005 is. Let's see, natural log of 1/6 divided by negative 0.005. I'm looking at 358.4, what are we talking about here, days? Yep, days. Almost 359 days. All right, last four. I'll use a review. Solve the log equation. Remember, when you see log with subtraction, that means division. So I'm going to say log base 5 of x plus 1 over x minus 1 equals 2. Because there's only one log, I'm about to do the swirl. All right, I have x plus 1 over x minus 1 equals 5 squared. And 5 squared is 25. I'm going to go ahead and make that 25 over 1 and then cross multiply. Okay, so I get 25x minus 25. Cross multiply the other way, get x plus 1. Move the x over, that's 24x. Move the 25 over, it's 26. Divide by 24, you get 26 24ths, which is really 13 12ths. Guys, don't forget to check your answer. It's good there. It's barely good there, but it is good. Remember, the log must be positive when you check. Number 12, I'm about to multiply by the conjugate here. The conjugate of 2 plus 4i is 2 minus 4i. My denominator, I'm going to do foo. So I get 4 minus 16i squared, which, by the way, ends up being 20. On my numerator, I'm doing FOIL first, outer, inner, last. That I squared right there makes it a negative 20, plus the 6 in the front gives me a negative 14, and my i's in the middle are negative 22i. So I'm going to take out a 2 out of everything, take a 2 out of 14, take a 2 out of 22, and take a 2 out of 10. And there's that one. Number 13. Find the zeros. We do this every week. Make a list first. 1, 3, 1/2. Remember, the list is the factors of the last number over factors of the first. Punch in your calculator, see where it crosses. It looks like it crosses at 3. There's a couple places it crossed, but I kind of like the 3 the best. So I'll pick 3. Let's see if it really works. 3 times 2 is 6. Add them up. 3 times 1. Add them up. Yep, I like the 3 a lot. That leaves me this, 2x squared plus 1x minus 1. Got to solve that to get my other two answers. You know what? I just looked at slide by slide in my head. It looks good. If I slide that 2 over, it looks like that. Factor it. I get x plus 2, x minus 1. Don't forget to divide. Okay, divide. So here's my answers. The first parentheses would be negative 1. The second parentheses is 1/2. Don't forget the answer we found first was 3. Should get 3 zeros there. Looks good. 14, last one. I'm going to show you a little bit different way. We did this, actually did this in class today if you were here. I'm going to use the base of the tougher one. I'm going to use base 10 this time, which is why I'm not writing a base. I'm just putting log 10, 10, gone. So I get 1 over x. Now I'm going to do this. On the right-hand side, to make things a little simpler, I'm just going to go ahead and punch log 6 right now. Log 6 is really this, 0.7782 x. Don't forget the x. Now, I have all numbers. There's not a log left in there. I'm going to move that x over to join the other x. I'm doing this right here plus 1x, which gives me 1.7782x. So to finish up, I'm just dividing 1 divided by 1.7782. And when I do that, I get 0.5624. And guys, that's it. So you can do that, or you can keep the log in the whole time and solve it that way. That's up to you. But I wanted to show you something just a little bit different there. Hopefully that helped. Guys, that just flew. I hope that was okay. Y'all owe me for this. Spring break. Are you kidding me? Making a math video. It's what I do. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow when you come and ace this test. See you. Bye.